What's going on, Mountaineer fans? Welcome to the Breakdown, where we take a look at App's upcoming opponent each and every week of the season. Up this week, we've got the Warhawks of ULM. The Warhawks come in with victories over Liberty, South Alabama, Troy, and Jackson State. However, they've been blown out by Kentucky, Coastal, and Georgia State. I think the only thing you could say that they are consistent in is that they are inconsistent. At this point of the season, they average just over 3 touchdowns a game, but they allow closer to 5 for their opponent. Let's take a look at why that is.
At quarterback for the Warhawks will be Chandler Rogers. He's a freshman junior college transfer, actually transferred in from Blinn College, where Cam Newton ended up turning his college career around. He's played in every game this year, but he didn't really become the true starter until week 4 against Coastal. You can see a lot of his runs here. He's definitely a better runner than he is a passer, but we'll see some throws that he makes here in a minute too. He's thrown for 8 touchdowns total and only 2 interceptions so far. I think really the main reason for little interceptions is because of how much he runs. I don't know if he's the most accurate quarterback that I've watched, but he's definitely better than the Rodriguez, who they started out the year with, so I can see why this guy's won the job. And obviously his mobility gives them a lot of chances. He's actually the second leading rusher on the team behind the running back, Henry, who we'll see in a second. And it's kind of surprising. It seems like Henry's really their only go-to back, so they kind of use Rodgers as that second back, and he sees a lot of runs, as we saw in those clips there. And then you can see some of his clips. As far as a thrower goes, he is okay. He's got an arm on him for his size, but then you'll also see his simple freshman mistakes. The ball slips out of his hands here, and they end up getting out of bounds, so it wasn't a big deal. But then you'll see a interception thrown. It's just not a great throw, almost into double coverage. So he's got to clean some of that stuff up. Here's Andrew Henry. He's also a freshman running back. He's got 371 yards on the year, and he averages just over 4 yards a carry with 3 touchdowns to go along with that. Not going to do anything that blows you away, I wouldn't say, but he certainly can make plays. He doesn't seem to have elite speed or elite power, but he's a really good combination of both speed and power. He can also catch out of the backfield, which we'll see some of here as well. And he can run away from defenders when he gets into open field. So we've got to try and keep him boxed in because he loves to cut outside. It's his favorite thing to do, similar to Noel, I would say, is he'd rather run outside than between the tackles. Although they do run him between the tackles as well. As long as his O-line's opening up holes, he can be successful that way also. And here we'll see some of the pass catching he can do out of the backfield. You just got to be a good tackling team, obviously, here against Liberty. The pretty poor tackles that were attempted. Again, open space. This one's easy. Walks in for the touchdown here. Again, just like Noel can do for us, anything open space is going to be really successful for him. You've just got to limit that type of look that allows him to maneuver easily in order to get more yards out of something that, as you've seen a couple times here, he very possibly could have been tackled in the backfield. And we'll see some looks here from Jackson, the wide receiver. Pretty impressive set of hands here. Pretty much one hands that. Keeps it from going out of bounds and makes the catch. Again, he's the second leading receiver. As you can see there, he makes the wide open catch. He just stumbles a little bit over his own feet. And he's got an easy touchdown on this next one. Then we'll take a look at Sparks, who's their third leading receiver, number 8. He's probably their tallest receiver that they've got, so he's a big target downfield. Again, their receivers seem to make some incredible catches, even when Rodgers and earlier in the season Rodriguez kind of mistimed the throws or underthrow the ball. their receivers seem to be prepared for that and make the known adjustments to get that ball in the hands. And then here's probably their top wide receiver and probably the greatest name in college football, Boogie Knight. That first part there kind of glitched up, but you can see this amazing catch, one-handed. He kind of uses the helmet a little bit. Initially called incomplete, but you can see he obviously makes the catch there. Here he is making a sideline toe tap against Kentucky early in the season. He's got 360 yards total, and he's only got one touchdown, even though he's often targeted. If you see some of these plays, to me, he reminds me a lot of Thomas Hennigan in the way he kind of runs after the catch. Doesn't have that upper echelon speed to totally break away, but does have a great set of hands on him. Averaging just over 12 yards per catch. He's definitely going to be a big target. It just seems like he kind of fades away when he gets near the end zone a little bit. But here is his one touchdown catch on the year. First career touchdown catch as well. And then we'll see a little goal line power here in the red zone. This guy, Olse, doesn't see a whole lot of carries, but he's a big man. So if they're going to get near the goal line, expect to see something from him. And then we'll also see a package in which they've got him lined up in the backfield in this next play, but they actually go to the tight end, Rasmussen. They don't go to their tight ends hardly at all otherwise. But down near the goal line in the red zone, they will go to these guys. I love this play here. Little fake end around, bring the defense in, and the tight end just sneaks out, gets the easy touchdown there. Here we'll look at number 10, Webster. He is their leading tackler overall as far as total tackles go. Number 10, he reminds me a lot of DeMarco Jackson, to be honest with you. He's at the top of the screen here, swinging his arms the most at the last second. And you'll see that he's tracking this play, goes all the way over to his right to try and get the quarterback down. Tracks all the way back to his left. Keep an eye on him. He's going to hit the quarterback here. I mean, he covered probably 25, 30 yards in that one play alone. So he's got really impressive speed to get side to side, but he's also got the power to keep the ball carrier from getting away from him. This one here, he's going to come up and lay a nice lick on the quarterback, not allow him to get past that kind of initial line of scrimmage there. And then the biggest guy here on the defensive line we'll have to look out for, Shelby, number 44. He's pretty much SEC size type of player. I would say him and, again, as far as similarities go, him and Taylor are very similar, probably a little bit slower, but they've got just that size and power that's going to disrupt every play they can. And they've also got just enough speed to really beat some of those slower offensive linemen. Here he gets a nice hit on the quarterback, causes an incompletion, and then this very next play, he's just going to chuck this guy down to the side. He's going to pick up the ball here. Ultimately, this play ended up coming back because it was ruled that the Jackson State quarterback was down before the ball was lost. But this is just an example of what he can do and will do if given the opportunity. Here, again, looks like a safety, but actually ultimately called an incomplete pass. But you can just see the disruption he can cause. He just makes 67 look silly, getting around him simply with a speed and a small swim move. I wouldn't even say he did anything crazy there, but just the size and the power. And then Sutherland, their kicker. You see he's got one blocked here against Liberty. Ultimately, this guy was ruled out at the 2, and they didn't quite take it for the touchdown that it looks like initially. But again, they are susceptible to some blocked kicks, although Sutherland also has made some long kicks, as we will see as well. This one, I believe, is a 53-yarder. And he ends up nailing against Liberty. So he's got the leg, not the most accurate kicker, but you'll see that that one looks pretty good. He did squeak it in just a little bit, but ultimately nails it. 45-yarder, also very good looking kick. And then you got two here that he just misses. He's got the distance needed, just doesn't quite have the accuracy. And then on a 48-yarder here, just outside the pylon or field goal post as it may be.
We now know what ULM looks like, and we've seen over the past 2 weeks how good App can look and how poor they can look. So it'll be an interesting weekend to see exactly what breaks down. We've got some pretty typical Boone weather for a mid-season game. It's going to be a little bit chillier, rainy temperatures, and we're going to have that either play to our advantage or it's going to be even the playing field because, as we know, ULM can take advantage of turnovers. They like that short field. That's where they really take advantage. They've got a kicker who's got a big leg. Not the most accurate, but certainly you don't want to put them in position to score easy touchdowns or easy points on the board. I do think that what we've seen is that they do have a weak O-line. They have a quarterback who could be dangerous on his feet, but honestly, their O-line isn't good enough to give him the looks of Derek King over at Miami. I don't think we're going to have any looks like that. This team, to me, is a lot more comparable to Georgia State. They can be dangerous. They do have players at certain positions that could hurt you. But overall, in and out, every down, are they a very dangerous team throughout the game? No, they are not. We cannot let them take advantage of simple mistakes. We have to keep the ball in our possession all the time. We can't give up fumbles. We can't give up easy interceptions. They will continue to take advantage of that. They are good enough defensively to punish you for those mistakes. I do think that our O-line will give Chase the protection that he needs to be able to find some open looks for the receivers. Again, if it's got a wet football, it's going to be a little bit harder to hold on to those. But we need to get some open looks so that these guys don't have to worry about making a catch and then getting hit hard or getting double covered. So if we can do that, I believe the O-line's good enough against this defensive line to open up some holes and let our guys run through. And I definitely think our defensive line is going to be able to break through this weak offensive line for the Warhawks throughout the entirety of the afternoon. I think they will have success. I expect the big game from all the usual players. DeMarco Jackson is going to be back on that stat sheet a lot. Taylor is going to have a big game. I think the wide receivers are going to be a little interesting because, again, we've got a wet football that could play out a little differently. But I think the running backs will have some success. Hopefully we see the return of some more healthy running backs and we get this train rolling back on the right direction. I think it might be close for the first half, but I do expect App to break away in the second. I'm going to predict ULM 17, App State 28. Happy homecoming, Apps. See you at the Rock Saturday. Go Apps.